Alright, in this third video, we are going to do some coding now on the server side. We will start by doing the socket server. We can use any folder we want. I will just select the assets folder here. I will create a new file with the name of server.js. We are going to place here all the Node.js code to send and receive messages from Angular 8. The first thing we're going to define here is the file system element. And why the file system? You will see that because we have to load our certificates files. When you create a certificate, you will receive two files, right? A key file and a certificate file. Those are the files there. I will not go deep into how to get these files. You can go to websites just like Let's Encrypt, which is a site that will give you free certificates, and you will be able to auto-renew those certificates. It's really easy. Well, if you are kind of an advanced user or something, or you can ask for help how to get those certificates, right? But yeah, the first thing is to get these two files, place them in any place you want, in a secure place you want, and you can load them from here, right? Just like this. The next step we're going to do is to load our Express framework, right? This is the most common framework used in Node.js. We're going to load it into this variable app. And the next step we're going to do is to create, right, a server object, a secure server object, right? So look here, take a look, it's HTTPS, what do we say? And as part of the options to create the server, we have the options variable, right? The options variable contains the certificate files. I will also show you how you can just create a simple server, not HTTPS, just a simple one, right? And this is going to be HTTP alone, right? With no options in the parameters, if you take a look there. For this tutorial, I will remove this because I'm not going to be live, so these certificate files are not here, but you can do that. Try them, and it's going to work very well. All right, now we're going to include our socket.io library because the full tutorial, the point of this tutorial is to communicate with socket.io. So now we are going to define some constants, some strings to use to communicate the server with clients. Just two strings. This is some strings I'm using, but you can do your own. Just don't pay attention to this. Use the same one I'm using, but you can change and use your own, right? Two simple variables saying that when we receive a new message, the string is going to say new message. And when a user is connected to the server, the string we're going to receive is new connection. And on the other side, a new string, a third string is going for when we want to send messages from the server to clients, right? All right, this array I just put here, this array will hold all the users connected to this server. So pay attention, because if you want to use many users, I mean millions of users, take into consideration that this is an array, right? And if you populate this array with millions of users, your server may run out of memory. So if you work with, I don't know, 100 users, 1,000 users, it's okay. Check your server memory. But if you're working with millions of users connected, you will have to persist some of that information, and you persist the information by saving them to the database, right? So how do you do that? Well, you just, instead of having them in an array in memory, every time a user is connected, you can save them information into the database and then request that information when you want to do something with the user and send any messages, right? The same with this array of connections. You will have as many users as connections you have, right? So those are two arrays very dangerous if your site grows really big. All right. The next thing we're going to do is just to listen in the port 3000. This is a random port. You can use whatever you want. It's a random number. This is the number I'm just using. This is a very common thing when you develop a server here in Node.js. So everything is ready to test this server, right? If everything goes well, you will see in the console a message saying socket listening on port 3000. We're going to create a new terminal here in this Visual Studio, and first I will have to go to that folder where this file is. So I'm going into there, the source folder, then the assets folder. Once I'm there, I located the file, and to run it, we just run node server.js, and we have ourselves listening, right? Well, let's move on to the next part.